Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has tasked Nigerians to brace up for the 2019 general elections. He says citizens should get their permanent voter cards to effect a positive and desired change for the betterment of the country. Joining us now on the news is a politician, Obafemi George. He's here to discuss expectations for the 2019 elections. Many thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Good afternoon.
Let's start with former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He was the first president from democracy in about 1999. So he had 8 years. Now, if he had laid the foundation for change, would we be having this conversation?
I don't think so. And I think he should be honest in his appraisal. There were many faulty foundations he put in place, which we're still suffering till today. He did quite well in certain areas. It's not for me to lay the blame at someone's doorstep, but one thing we must realize is that governance is a continuum. No government can solve the entire problems of the community in one term, not even in 2 terms. That's why every nation should have a 30-year goal, a 50-year goal. So if a party comes in, it doesn't matter whether it's party A or party B, stick to the plans and keep implementing the plans that is bringing about development. That's where I think we should be driving the conversation going on in Nigeria right now at the moment.
Really? So you're saying that if any party that comes in here and says, okay, I promise to give you this during my tenure, we shouldn't be expecting it to happen within 4 years. We should be looking at 10 to 20 years.
No. You should have short-term goals,
okay,
medium-term goals, long-term goals.
All right.
Okay, I'll give you an example. The current government came in 2015. They had a power goal. And what did they do? Just one instance, they went to dig up the Mambila project, power project, which was, I think, awarded about 40 years ago. Now, by next year, they'll be completing that project. Those are the kind of things we want to see. Lagos-Ibadan Express Road was awarded during Obasanjo's tenure, left it midway. Yaradua picked it up, signed PPP arrangement with Wale Babalaki, left it midway, same thing with Jonathan. Now this government is going to finish the road because it's in this year's budget to complete that road. Those are the kind of things we want to see.
So that's more of continuity.
That's more of continuity. Whatever is going to favor the people, let's finish it up. It shouldn't be because, okay, you know what, I didn't initiate it, then I'm going to dump it and start my project. At the end of the day, you and I are the one that's going to pay for it.
Speaking of continuity, about 26 state governors have thrown their weight behind this current president for the 2019 elections. Now, what does that do to President Obasanjo's call for change on Nigerians to act ahead of 2019?
I don't know what his motive is, and I don't know the parable he's trying to pass across to Nigerians. But if you ask me, there's no perfect government anywhere. You can't have a government that's going to run 100%. If you're going to appraise a government, let's be, very sincere. This government is fighting insecurity, Boko Haram, whatever you call it. It's not just a Nigerian thing. It's a global phenomenon. We can see that in Syria. We see all kinds of attacks in Paris, in Belgium. It's an ideological war. It's beyond guns and bullet war. That's important. Number 2, the economy, for instance. People might be complaining right now that, oh, this government hasn't done much in terms of economy. But I would want to disagree a bit. Where we are, we're in a transition stage. We've left Egypt, we're on our way to the promised land. And I tell people in Naira and Kobo terms, in 2014, we were earning $105 per barrel. By 2017, late 2016, early 2017, we were earning $30 per barrel. Mm-hmm. So if you personalize that, if your salary is 110,000 Naira per month, and the following year it dropped to 30,000 Naira per month, and your expenditure remained the same, I kid you not, you're going to more than a personal recession. And that was what we experienced. And in spite of that, this government has dragged us out of recession. We have saved more than we did when we were earning more.
Okay, we understand your point on that issue, but let's now look at another matter with regards to the elections now, which is also part of what we're to discuss in this matter. From what the former president Obasanjo said, he wants Nigerians to, go get their PVC so that they can effect the change that we so desire. But then again, the Lagos state government came out to say that the number of those voters that are picking up their PVCs aren't encouraging. And even INEC has corroborated the story that majority of Nigerians are yet to pick up their PVCs. Now we have an election just around the corner and we have less participation. What are your thoughts on what is playing out and how worrying do you think this might be as we get into the elections proper?
I can tell you personally, I am worried. I started a meeting about 2 weeks ago, and we were analyzing the data for Lagos State. In 2011, out of over 5 million voters, about 1.5 million people voted presidential election, 30%. In 2015, it was worse. About 1.3 million voted. 27% of people with voters' card came out to vote. And I begin to ask myself, if we have a population of almost 20 million, 6 million registered voters, where were we on election day? We can't just complain on social media, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram. No, it goes beyond that. We must get involved. We must go to the polling booth. We must go and vote. I was reading the papers yesterday or 2 days ago that number of PVCs uncollected in Lagos is about 1.4 million. That can change a community. So people need to really come out and, like they say, put their money where their mouth is. They need to get involved and pay the price.
Well,
I have a little friend that will say, I can't stay in the sun for too long.
That's if they come out on election day and actually cast their ballot. And the number of PVCs collected so far also says a lot about political awareness and education of the people. But that's where we'll have to leave it.
Which is where we need you.
Obafemi George, politician, thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.